Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nip and a Half podcast. Just coming out of Game Week 5, or halfway through Game Week 5, from a Dream Team perspective. Looked at it to Game Week 6. Spoiler alert: Paul, my wild card is active. I'm trying to.
Oh, so is mine.
Is it really? You just kept that quiet. You keep everything quiet for me. Trying to emulate your Game Week 6 wild card success from last year. But yeah, it'd be interesting to compare notes on that. Should we start an FPL?
Yeah. I've had a dreadful start to the season, I think, and it was a dreadful weekend as well. And that was with a slice of luck by having Gabriel first sub and coming on for Jota as well. But
Oh my god.
55 points, which is below the average in the game, so I'm down at 1.8 million. Whilst I'm not, overall rank, I'm not that bothered about, but my two Brighton players were both on the bench, Minter and
Oh, you went for
Pedro.
Minter, did you?
Yeah, I've had them from the start.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like the only points was from Henderson and goals, really, and Haaland and a captain Salah. It's Smith Rowe as well. But yeah, this point of the week, I'm on wild card. What about yourself? How was your weekend?
Much the same. I saved another transfer. I could have used a transfer. I was tempted, like a João Pedro to like a Calvert-Lewin or Solanke or some such sort of move. But I held out. I ended up on 63 points, which I'm quite surprised. Henderson 9 points in goal was a very welcome and surprising bonus. Rogers seems to have had an extra bonus point added overnight as well. I think he ended up on max bonus in the end. Haaland, Salah, Trent 11-pointer, so 63. Even though you're absolutely disgusted with your rank at 1.8 million, I am on 1.75 million. But I'm all right. Got three free transfers. I'd always plan on wildcard. I say always. Over the last sort of 2 weeks, I've been pretty set on wildcard in this week. Having a lot of transfers in hand as well. I'm quite excited about it. So, but it's harder to build a team than what I thought. Actually, I thought if I went Salah down to Diaz, which saves 4 million, I thought it'd be quite easy to make a team of basically who I want. But it's actually been a bit tougher than I've thought. I'm currently on a. What am I on? Let me just run through my wildcard team really quickly. I've gone for Raya in goal at the moment and a 4 million. Porro, Trent, I'll probably not go for Trent. Porro, Trent, Gabriel, Vandenberg, the Brentford 4 million defender. He started the last two, had 19 last two, so I reckon he's going to play. And Feist at the moment, just like as a 4 million placeholder who might be rising. I've gone for Luis Diaz. I've stuck with Ezzy at the moment. Buemo, Rogers, McNeil. McNeil's really cheap as well.
5.4.
Yeah, I've got Haaland and Watkins. I've gone for Jackson at the moment. I've caught a rise off him. I might catch another one and get a 0.1 profit. I might go for him. I'm not sure yet. But with all that, I'm exactly out of money, and I haven't got Saka yet. So I think what I might end up doing is something like Trent down, Jackson down, and somehow end up with Saka. But I haven't given it a great deal of thought at the moment, to be honest. I was just trying to kind of catch the rises. But yeah, Gabriel. I don't know if I mentioned Gabriel. But yeah, that's me roughly at the moment. Where's your kind of pain points on your wild card? Are you reasonably set?
So I've written down 30 players that I would I've considered. The only player that you've mentioned that
I've
not got considered is Porro. I think just with Spurs' fixtures, I think I'm going to leave out. You're gambling on attacking returns.
You are gambling,
whilst
but
he is great in other formats in particular.
Yeah,
in particular Dream Team. But yeah, I've got the other players on my list just now. Pretty similar to you, Rhea 4.0, Trent, Gabriel in defence. Then I've looked at various different rotating spots, but with having a solid fifth defender as well. So, and the reason for that is that I've saved a little bit in midfield. So looking at Rodgers, but also a couple of 5.5. So I've not got McNeil, but Semenyo and Smith Rowe would be the other two in there. And then up front, yeah, like Haaland, Watkins as well. I think I'm trying to find where I've been playing with combinations. Like I don't think Bowen will be that popular on wildcard, and I think getting him in, he's not had great returns this season, but someone of his pedigree, like a haul's just around the corner at some point, and that almost entices me more because he's not had any of the returns, and therefore it's more of a differential. So I am trying to see where I think I can perhaps get an edge on others, because I know that wildcard 6 is going to be really popular, and those that wildcarded early, I've probably saved up transfers or making transfers to get close to what the wildcard team is going to be as well. So finding an edge in FPL can be difficult this year. At this point last year, you mentioned earlier on like a wildcarded, which not many people did at this stage.
It was early one. A lot was like 8 and 10 were popular, especially 10 won it last year.
I doubled up on Spurs, and that was when Spurs stopped getting the big attacking returns from 10 onwards. They'd just come off the back of thumping Newcastle, I think, at White Hart Lane or the new Tottenham Stadium, and Maddison had returned quite a bit as well. So, yeah, I almost feel uncomfortable that I've not got that many differentials in my team. So, I'm not going to put them in for the sake of it, but I am going to play about with it and see if I can find a couple of sub 10% players that I think are due for a good run and enroll with that.
I'm hoping that my edge is going to be that I'm hoping to obviously save a transfer in game week 7, and that means I have four free transfers then. So I'm kind of hoping that my edge is going to come from the fact that I can, because we're not going to use the second wild card, are we, until obviously way after Christmas, because that's when you can use it, but more than likely kind of in alliance with double game week. So we need to set ourselves up for the long term, both in terms of the squad itself, in terms of 90-minute men. But I think having 4 free transfers going into game week 8, because there are fixture swings in game week 8 and game week 10 as well. I think Spurs and maybe United have got a good fixture swing in game week 8. There's another one in game week 10. Liverpool will definitely be back on the radar for like 10, 11 onwards. So I'm hoping that having the 4 free transfers and hopefully maybe even playing one, rolling one, if I can stretch that out for 6 or 8 weeks, to get the full thing of it. I'm hoping that'll be my edge there, be able to maneuver quickly and not take hits. But yeah, we'll see. Interesting times. Felt start the season really well. Game week 1, 2, and 3. And it just feels 4 and 5. We had 11 players playing back-to-back home games. Almost. I think it just hasn't quite panned out. You haven't got that goal. A few people have had like Smith Rowe, and I've had Eze. He didn't take the penalty. I've had Gordon, who's come really close. Just haven't got that one goal off my midfielder to really, get that extra 8 points that you want. So, but yeah, interesting times.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Gabriel, I'd be. Did save 22 points in the last game week.
Incredible.
No.
Just so we move on, welcome everyone in the chat. Cloud Sky Fantasy Football is in. He says, evening gents from extremely soggy rugby. Yeah, it's not been the best today. It's probably warmer and drier in Scotland, I'm guessing, than the rest of the UK at the moment. What's it like? No rain.
It's been overcast all day, but there's not been any downpours here.
There's a lot of flooding in the south of the UK. Apparently, lots of rain, lots of flooding and stuff.
See the Newcastle games off.
I saw that.
Well.
That is a killer for those who own Newcastle. I can tell you don't by the big smirk on your face. But those who do,
I don't think they're that popular. I don't think they're that popular anymore.
Not anymore. They were a few weeks ago, weren't they?
Yeah.
Windy's in. And welcome, Wendy says, had a great weekend with TFF. Rodri and Gibbs White did me proud. And then just on the bottom, Viney says, it's even worse. He said, I'm with you, Windy. I took Gibbs White out after red and put in Rodri. Oh, this game. This game hurts, don't it? Kaiser Sose is in. Adam Byram, Chris Harvey, Tim WD, Jason Manners, James Fricker, Bobby Shearer, Brownie as well. If you are in, say hello. Hope you're all having good seasons. What game do you want to talk about next?
Telegraph?
Yeah, how was your weekend in that?
Pretty good. I got 57 for the week. Made one transfer, moved out Henderson after he got his clean sheet and saves bonus for Raya yesterday.
Nice.
Who got a 5-pointer, so I was pretty happy with the return on there. Smith Rowe's been like Smith Rowe was my Solanke replacement, so that was my first sub, or the first transfer used. So that worked out well. And then I've got Gabriel, who's scored 6 points from him, and Munoz. So I had double Crystal Palace defence that worked out well. And say that Henderson to Raya move, I'd take 5 points from that fixture all day long, knowing that I wanted double Arsenal defence from next week. And I might actually triple up on Arsenal defence after Newcastle play Man City in the first game next weekend. I might move one of my 2 Newcastle assets on for Saliba and kind of triple up on Arsenal defence at that point.
I think you're doing okay, aren't you? You're quite a few points ahead of me in Telegraph. I'm
pretty happy with the start inside the top 7k now.
Yeah.
2 transfers used, but my team's set up reasonably well. Nice structure, I think.
I'm top 18k and I've used 3 transfers. I did a move on the weekend. I took out Isak for Gabriel. Maybe that was hasty. I'm not 100% sure why. I think I had in my head, because I thought Isak was going to be injured, and he wasn't. So I think I had it kind of in my head. Obviously, Gabriel scored, which was fortunate in hindsight. But I've still got team's okay actually. I've probably got 8 players I'm really happy with: Raya, White, Gabriel, Eze, Saka, Gomez, Haaland, and Mbeumo. I've got Munoz, who obviously, he kept a clean sheet this week, which was nice. But other than that, he haven't done a lot. I got Michaelenko, just absolutely stinking out my team. He's on 1 point for the season. And Bruno Guimaraes, he's doing okay. He's got about 18 points. He's had 1 assist and about, I think I looked earlier, 16 tackles. So he's plodding along. But I think Gomez will do for plodding along, and I think I need to think of how I can score a few more points than getting the extra bonus or 2 out of Bruno. So, I mean, I've got Mbeumo already, which I think will be a popular move next week for people.
Yeah.
Triple Arsenal defense, Saka already in place and things. Haaland, so yeah, okay, just plod along in this format. There's absolutely no rush in this format, is there? If you try and force things in this format, it hurts, as people find out every year, and as new players find out every year.
Munoz. You've got Munoz. I've got Munoz. 2.7 million. I don't know that there's anything that I'm really considering moving on to, unless it sounds like you're on. Well, you will be on at least 4 at the back if you've just moved these.
I'm on 4 at the moment, but
I guess you can move him to another position now if you want.
That's it. But Michaelenko is. I think his Everton's fixtures are pretty decent from now on. I'll probably leave him. Yeah, I'll probably leave him. Bruno Grimash is doing okay, but I don't feel like I'm massively missing out on anyone. I think that's the thing as well. It's just like you look at your rank and you think, I need to get it better. But then I'm looking at my team and thinking, well, the only players I really want at the moment, as many Arsenal defenders as possible, Haaland and Mbeumo, and probably Saka actually, because he just seems to be returning every week. Other than that, not really sure there's masses of other players I want. They're all sort of much for muchness, but
Watkins maybe. I think my kind of wish list similar. I could get Mbeumo in for Isak or Gordon next week, and our teams are going to be pretty similar if I was to make those moves. Say the other one I'd considered was Watkins, but from those two Newcastle players to get Saliba and Watkins in, I'd be 0.1 short anyway. So I think I'll just let that one go, and I may consider moving on to Mbeumo as well. With the view then, if I did make those two moves, I'm pretty happy with the team, and I wouldn't really have anything penciled in, albeit I would have 1.5 million in the bank as well if I'd want to make an upgrade at some point.
I can go straight from Bruno to Watkins. Got the money in the bank. Or to Luis Diaz. He's another one who's interested in me. Just see. What do you think on him? Do you think he's having his breakout season, or do you think he's just in really good form and it'll kind of revert to the mean? Or do you think because of under the new manager, he's playing a slightly different role? He's an interesting one.
Interestingly, in Dream Team, I brought him in last week for his back-to-back 2 points, and then took him straight back out again this week. So I missed the haul. Missed the haul. Brought him in for 2 blanks, and then got rid of him. I think it's too early to say whether he did finish the season strongly though. In fairness, it's not just that he's picked up this season. He did finish the end of last season strongly. I would be loath to say at this point in time he has taken all these big chances that are coming his way. It's not like he's, other than when he hit the post last weekend.
Yeah.
I think that every shot that he seems to be taking at the moment is going in. I know that's sustainable for some players like Son and others, but more time for me. I'm not in a rush to get him in this format. I'm not in a rush to get him in any format. I doubt I'll have him in any team.
Well, Liverpool's fixture, I think they got like 3 of the next 4 away now and stuff, haven't they? So he kind of missed that burst anyway. But yeah.
And in Dream Team, he's only starting one of the 2. When they're in Europe anyway,
yeah,
playing Gakpo over them. So yeah, not. I'm not in a rush. I'd prefer the Watkins move if I was you. If I was looking to get rid of Bruno Guimaraes.
What do you think of Nicholas Jackson at just 4 million in Telegraph? Do you think he keeps his place?
I like
because he finished the season strongly as well, and he started strongly as well. I can't see him being usurped up front. I think he just plays every week.
Yeah, he's Telegraph and FPL. I'd consider him. He's on my FPL shortlist of 30 players. Because you can afford Watkins. If I was doing it, I know that leaves you inflexible money wise. Yeah. I think I would just go Watkins over him, but I wouldn't rule him out in any of those 2 formats. I wouldn't consider him in Dream Team because I think Nkunku plays Europe as a centre forward in that format, and therefore you're only getting 1 out of 2 games.
And Rodgers is I'm contemplating Rodgers over Watkins as well. I like to just remain flexible as I can, and have like I know if it feels a bit wrong having like 3 million in the bank, but it just means at any point I can do whatever move I want.
Rodgers, like, I can't shift this mentality on Telegraph that I don't like players that are midfielders in other formats that are centre forward.
Is he forward in Telegraph?
Yeah, but you don't score any more points by being a midfielder either, other than the tackle bonus, which Rodgers isn't. Like, he might get the odd couple of tackles here and there, but it's a mentality shift that I cannot get out of.
I didn't even realise he was a midfielder, so I won't go for him.
So's Luis Diaz, by the way.
He's a forward as well. Yeah, I always like the thought. But with Eze, he's got a couple of tackle points. Like even when they don't return with thing, they get the odd point for tackles, which is why for someone like Rodgers, I thought he'd be good anyway. But I'll probably go to Watkins now. Interesting stuff.
But that is an interesting mindset, because I have the exact same, that you don't get more points from scoring as a midfielder, other than those tackle bonus in this game. But I would be reluctant to get them for that reason also.
Interesting. So Dream Team.
You can start with
I'm so angry. I was so pissed Saturday lunchtime. I was in my car, and I even had to say to myself, breathe. I was so angry. So we had a phone call, didn't we, on Friday afternoon? I think we sometimes have an odd, exchange of messages or a quick call just to have a chat about different things and run a couple things by each other. And I said to you the moves I was going to. I wrote it in my Hub article as well. The exact moves I was going to do, which was Luis Diaz out. I mean, that's what it is, and someone else out. I can't remember who, but it was to bring in James Maddison and Rashford. And Maddison, I'd spent, and this is why I'm so angry with it. It wasn't just a random, I'll just go for Maddison. Like, I looked at his underlying stats, looked at everything. I thought he was a good pick, a really good pick. And he has been this week at 19 points is insane. You'd never have thought he'd had that against Brentford. It was more the fact that playing the 2 games. And because of the fact that I knew Haaland wasn't going to play twice this week, Salah, I think, well, he may play the second game or some of it, but it seemed to be, looking at the fixture schedule, a really good time to go against Haaland or Salah, because I think every other week now for the foreseeable, they play in Champions League or something along those. I thought this week seems a really good opportunity to play max cap. So I was on my desktop. I made my transfers, pressed the booster button, I pressed max cap, and you even get a reminder saying, do you want to activate your booster? And I pressed yes. And then it came on and went, right, booster, you get the gold thing, booster activated or whatever else. And I thought, right, fine, done. Really happy with the decision. Regardless of the outcome, I was happy with the decision. And because of that, I didn't actually move the captaincy off Haaland because I had max cap. There was no need. So I logged onto the app then on Saturday lunchtime. I had my kids' football. It's not the first time my kids' football has stopped me looking at all the apps on a Saturday morning. I would hasten to add, bloody kids, to find that my captain was on Haaland with no max cap activated. And even if it was on Salah, who would have been my other choice, I wouldn't have been that angry. Like, it's kind of half worked out at the moment because obviously Haaland's outscored Salah, but Salah will probably play, I'm guessing, midweek. And
Do you think so?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. I think he's got more chance than Haaland anyway. But it's the fact that I could have had my captain on Maddison, who's on 19 points, and I think Maddison plays on Thursday as well. I could have had your Kudus call from last year where 40 points doubled to 80 or 35 points doubled to 70 to really change my season. And I think it was the right time to do it as well. It was a very... And this is why I'm so angry about it. It's not the fact that, I'll do max cap this week, some random notion. It was really well thought out, I thought. And it would have paid off, but it hasn't. And I know it's very easy to say, oh, you can't have pressed the button. I fucking did. 100%. It glowed up gold. And the only reason I can think why it hasn't gone through is because I did it on my desktop. And it somehow didn't do what it was supposed to do. But yeah, obviously I've got Maddison, which is great. He scored some really good. I took out Diaz for Maddison. They scored the same point, so I've kind of leveled out there. Overall, what am I on? I think 90 points. It's okay. I haven't had a great week. Yeah, 90 points. Porro, Saka, Eze, Rodgers, Rashford benched. I mean, you can't make that up, can you? But I saw he was a very popular transfer in. Yeah, and Maddison. So yeah, 90 points. But if Salah bagged a couple in the week, I don't know what I'm going to be like, because it's one of those things. You think of how many hours we plan and plot and these things just to be done over by some kind of system glitch.
And it's not the luck element which you can accept, because it's the fact that you actually attempted to, you did do something and then
really specifically did, and it's not the fact that my captain is on. Even if my captain was on Salah, I'd have a little bit of solace because he would have been the captain I would have picked. There's no way I was going for Haaland playing once against Arsenal. I know he's returned, and I feel quite fortunate there actually. But anyway, I'll stop moaning now after my 5-minute rant.
What are you thinking about this week?
I've got 3 single game week players. I've got Eze. I think I'm just going to leave. They've got Everton away. I think I'm just going to leave Eze. He's just scoring 7 points each week at the moment anyway. I've also got Robinson and Sal's still. So both of them didn't return well this week. So they'll both either stay the same or drop. So I've been looking at keepers, and I think I'm going to change my keeper. I can either go to the the players I'm looking at. Delete is 3.2. I want to see if I get to see, I suppose, if he plays on Thursday first or whether they play a rotated team. He'll go up in price. He looks mega dangerous. He looks really dangerous all the time. So if I go for him, I can afford kind of a second-rate European keeper, someone like Martinez, maybe Vicario. Ideally, I'd like Ray, and I was 5.1. I don't think I can get him. I don't think that's worth it for a keeper, regardless. If I go for a more expensive keeper, I need to find the funds for. I need to have a cheaper keeper. But I think it's either that, or depending on how Rashford does, I do something around trying to get Watkins in potentially. But they've got Bayern next week. I don't think it's a massive rush there. Maybe another United, and that's my loose thoughts anyway. I'll stop talking now. How about your week?
I'm on 95 points. So the 2 players that I took out scored 29 points between them. But
that's impressive.
So that sounds horrendous. And like, if you break it down, like, maybe it is bad, but there's some method in the way done it. So I knew Diaz was going down 0.3, and I think we both said this is like, as what it is, right? He's kind of returned that number. He's popular for coming out anyway. And I took out Henderson and goals, who got a 10-pointer. But Henderson was dropping 0.2, and the keeper that I brought in, Onana, scored 9. And so not only did I get the 0.3 rise, I'll get a rise out of him this week, and he's got a second game against FC20, and I'm pretty happy to hold him. He's got a double again next week, and so I don't regret the moves I made. I swapped Diaz to Rashford, similar to you. He's got 1 point so far. He might return against FC20 as well, and so I'm very seldom influenced by listening to podcasts, or I'm informed by podcasts, and I enjoy listening to fantasy football related podcasts rather than copying moves or taking any specific things. More inspirational thing, and then how do I take that bit of information and combine it with something that I'm thinking on this side. And it's partly the same, but because I'd mentioned to you, I messaged you during the week saying, like, honestly, what do you think about Son 12th man? And I considered Bruno 12th man as well. And initially you'd said no, but then you're like, oh, well, maybe he does play Europe, actually. I think it's a better shout than what I'd done. And I was all for not doing it. And then I was walking the dog, listening to the Dream Tonic podcast. And it was like, again, the Son 12th man was floated. And I was like, now I know that because I had this initial thought without any influence in it, wasn't going to do it, and now that it might pick up a bit of traction, if I don't do it, I think I'd be more annoyed than if I did it and it didn't come off. So I put 12 man on Son, which has worked out pretty well. 11 points so far.
Nice.
And I think he plays midweek as well. Some decent returns. I've got Munoz on the team. He got 8 points. He was on the chopping block for me this week up until then, but it's likely he'll get either a 0.2 or a 0.3 rise this week. Captain Salah, so maybe get some minutes midweek. I say I'm skeptical. I am thinking of Rashford straight back out, regardless of how well he does midweek, and Robinson out, and I can just afford Trent, who's getting the 0.3 rise, and Tielemans in midfield.
Oh, Tielemans.
So who's going to get a 0.3 rise as well? Well, if he doesn't play midweek, which again I don't think he will, but get the 0.3 rise there, playing twice a week with Europe. I would have a midfield then of three Villa players,
Yeah.
Onana, Rodgers, and Tielemans. But I'm not like they're semi-popular to the point of it's not like I've got three Villa midfielders against someone else's, or most people's none.
Oh.
It's I've got one extra Villa midfielder who's playing twice a week, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. My team budget's 55.6 just now, and I'd imagine, like, because I'm protecting budget this week with Onana likely to go up, Munoz likely to go up, Trent's going to go up probably 0.3, Gvardiol will probably stay the same, Saka will probably stay the same, Eze up, Rodgers up, Onana up, Tielemans up, Haaland up, Salah up.
You turn in my stomach.
That after the international break, I can then start moving my midfielders who are churning like points and low value players to get some big hitters back in. So, like when you're thinking of an optimal team just now, the optimal team's probably coming in at what, 65 million or something like that. And I'm hoping that I'll get closer to doing it. We know that the second half of the season you can largely afford whatever team that you want because players start reverting to the norm, and then you see a lot more drops, and you won't be taking those players out. But it almost feels like partly a race to get to that spot
Yeah,
first.
I agree.
Get to the template first, and then does it follow afterwards? So yeah, Dream Team's by far my favourite game this season in terms of how
It's so much fun as well, Dream Team, in it. I was having a discussion. It's really funny, I find, when you chat about other fantasy games with players who only play FPL, and you say, oh, you kind of highlight the benefits of the other games, and they, immediately, oh no, I don't like the sound of that. Like, what? I just, oh, I wouldn't want to have like 12 points. I said one of the great things on Dream Team is you get points from other things other than just pure goals and assists immediately. Oh, I don't like that, And I said, oh, you can have players having like 20-point weeks if they do really, really well, but they have multiple ways of scoring the point. You can have eight factors of how they score the points. Oh no, it sounds too complicated. I'd much rather your six in your twos. But yeah, all the interest midweek, trying to kind of second guess who's going to play in Europe, who's going to play in in the Carabao Cups and things as well. Building the team value is much more important to build good team value in Dream Team than it is in FPL, in my opinion, because it can totally transform your team. And there's this skill in there every week of balancing your team value and your points in Dream Team, whereas in FPL it isn't really. So really enjoy it regardless. I think one of the main reasons I'm just angry this week about this is I was, on the coattails, or at least level with a lot of the players I track, a lot of very good Dream Team managers who I track, and a lot of the time, I know this. It's almost who blinks first on things. Everyone will make like similar-ish moves, and then sometimes someone will go wrong. And I think this week taking out Luis Diaz has probably hurt me because a lot held on to him. But the double factor with the non-max cap has just it's dropped me only 1,000 places so far, but pissed me off because I know it's going to be really hard to get back 10 or 20 points against these really good players because they're all so well informed and really, really good. So
a popular move this week, which I hadn't contemplated once, was taking Saka out. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of really engaged managers take Saka out as well, which either leads to playing a 12th man or bringing Saka back in. So I'm pretty happy that I've kept him on that basis. He got 6 points yesterday. He could have, if the red card hadn't happened, then he would have stayed on, I'm sure, and played more. But yeah, I'm really happy with the moves that I've got lined up as well. What I do want Watkins, and I think it'd be good to get him in. But I'm similar to you. They play Bayern next week and Ipswich away. Is Ipswich away?
Ipswich away is
a great fixture.
A tougher fixture than it was a few weeks ago, I think, definitely. I think as well on Dream Team, like I learned last year the hard way with Saka, what taking him out does. He's averaging 8.5 points per game at the moment. And he just does in this format. He's an absolute king in this format. And I think there's players like Saka, Haaland, Salah, for me, are probably three players I'd be very surprised if they left my team all season. Even when they go on bad runs, they still just score so well. Like Salah this week, what did he only get an assist? 10 points.
Yeah.
10 points. Haaland only got the 1 goal, 13 points. Saka played half a game, 6 points. They're just points machines, and their prices are so high as well. Like even if they were lower, you could maybe move them out quite, reasonably quickly. But Salah's 7.5, Saka's 6.4 now. They're not easy to bring in and out either, are they? So I think, unless someone in that space comes up to be an essential sort of, Foden, De Bruyne, maybe later in the season around that price point. Other than that, leaving Saka, I would. Are we looking on the ultimate?
Yeah, we'll just do a quick roundup on the ultimate. So you're in 19th spot out of 53. Your average mini league position is 17th. And I'll do a rundown of the top 10. Mark Williamson in 10th. I'm sitting in 9th currently. Dale Pointer in 8th. Carl Bennett in 7th. Simon Davis in 6th. Connor Tobin in 5th. Gavin Shirley in 4th. And then the top 3 is Clive Fisher in 3rd. Ben Lee from Dream Team Tonic in 2nd. And then 1st is Alad Wilcox. Alad's now top 10 in every format. So he's 1st in our Dream Team League for Ultimate Fantasy Manager, 7th in TFF, and 2nd in FPL.
Shout out to Simon Davis this week, Captain Madison on the nose. What a shout that is, because I say his underlying data was there, but he hasn't particularly scored well, is he? So that is a hell of a shout. Really, really well played. And yeah, as you say, Ben, and particularly Aled, top of Dream Team, 2nd in FPL, and 7th in TFF, flying. Quite a lot of 12th men used in the top 10 this week. 6 in the top 10 have either been used or have been used. A few chips played in FPL over the last few weeks as well. But yeah, really good stuff. Really enjoying as usual.
I think they've all the 4 active ones have all played it on Son, I'd assume. Because
oh, really? Okay. Oh, yeah, they're on 11. All on 11.
11.
Interesting. Good stuff, mate. Interesting stuff on Wildcard this week then. I'm actually moving house next Monday. So I'm going to be very, very tied for time next week. And I don't know if I can have internet connection and all that jazz. So may have to play next week by ear, nip and a half. But yeah, we'll let you know on Twitter or wherever else. Hopefully I can be in quickly, move my stuff in, and we can do one, and we'll be good. But if not, we'll be back the week after probably. But yeah, thank you, mate. Best of luck for the week.
And you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.